There is always this demographic of people in my industry that always thinks the market is crashing. They have existed since 2008, and every year there's some sort of reason why the housing market is going to crash.
The world will end next week!
I'm Danny Brown, I'm the CEO of Myriad Real Estate Group, and this is why you should ignore the housing apocalypse. I don't think that it's going to. I think that the worst of the market, or the bottom of home values, is behind us. I sit down with a lot of sellers all across Greater Phoenix, all in different zip codes, and the trend lines all look very, very similar, where we have come way down in terms of annual appreciation from the highs of COVID, which thank God, because it was super high, it was over 30%, just not sustainable. And we actually went negative in a lot of zip codes for a brief period of time across Greater Phoenix. Some just got into the low single digits, but a fair amount of them actually went negative in terms of the appreciation year over year. But that negative was never more than 5%. Now, over the last several months of this year, the trend lines are all pointing up. Home values across the valley are appreciating, and keep in mind that this is an environment where mortgage rates were hovering around 7%, give or take. So that's showing that supply and demand are, equaling each other, if not somewhat in favor of sellers with slightly higher demand in areas. That's how you get appreciation, right? Whenever the cost of things increase, it's because there's more demand than supply. And that causes those home prices to go up. The bottom of the market, if you were looking for it, based on trend lines, seems to be behind us. Those values have increased across Greater Phoenix. So if you are a buyer that has been looking to time the market, the bottom of the market has passed. Mortgage rates are down. So we have seen them come off their highs in the low to mid sevens, and now they're in the mid to high sixes. And we are now entering into our summer season, where historically we see just a slowdown in the real estate market. So if you're looking for that perfect timing, I would say it's now where you should enter the market, as long as you can afford that monthly payment. I am a big proponent of making sure you can afford to buy the home on a monthly basis and not trying to time the market. But if you are someone that has been able to afford to buy a home and has been holding off because you were waiting for that perfect opportunity, I believe that time is now. Things slow down. People go on vacation. We don't see a lot of new listings hitting the market during that time frame either. That window is really that January through May time frame, and we're at the end of May headed into June. So we're going to see less listing activity, and the days on market for the existing inventory is going to start to grow. So if you're a buyer wanting to take advantage of those sellers, it is an opportune time for that. You can get closing cost assistance. You can beat them up on price. You can get them to do repairs to the home or offer you credits in lieu of repairs. Perfect example, I mentioned this in another video. We just got 2 buyers an entire roof replacement on 2 different properties, that if the market was different and it was truly in a seller's market, we wouldn't be able to have those negotiations. So as the market continues to change, as interest rates hopefully continue to come down, we will see an increase in demand. When that happens, the first thing that disappears is concessions from sellers, negotiations from sellers, repairs. All of that goes by the wayside because they don't have to do it anymore. So if you are a buyer who has been in a position where you can afford to buy a home but have been waiting for an opportune time to do that, I believe that time is now. If you are someone who wants to get into a home and can afford the monthly payments, but you may not have a bunch of cash sitting on the sidelines for your down payment or your closing costs, you can get a seller to actually give you money from their proceeds to cover your closing costs. So that would cover your realtor fees, your title and escrow fees, and your lender fees. So that can be a substantial amount to help bring down that overall cost. I also work with a lender that just let me know today that there are some loan programs for first-time home buyers that can actually give them funds to apply towards their down payment, so they could potentially come out of pocket $0 for their purchase. So these programs pop up every now and again and can be very, very advantageous for especially first-time home buyers. And then don't fall into the trap where you think you need to put 20% down. I will tell you, very few home buyers put 20% down. If you're a first-time home buyer, the minimum is somewhere between 3 and 3.5%. If you're buying another home and you're not a first-time home buyer, you're looking at something as low as 5% down. So the amount of cash that you need to bring to the table may not be as substantial as what you initially thought. I am not a big proponent of trying to time the market. You can only tell if you timed it properly when you look at history and look at things over the course of years, not months or even days. So I'm not a proponent of that. I am a proponent of buying a home when the timing is right for you and you can afford that monthly payment. Historically, home values go up over time. There is no crash on the horizon for housing. Our population continues to grow. Greater Phoenix continues to be a net importer of people, not an exporter. So as long as our population continues to grow, there's still a shortage of housing. We didn't all of a sudden solve that after COVID. So the issue of not enough homes for people to live in still exists. The only thing that changed was the affordability issue. And for the first time in quite a while, wage growth is actually outpacing home price or home appreciation. So homes are actually becoming a little bit more affordable from a wage standpoint because wage growth is outpacing that rate of inflation. How long that continues is really going to be contingent on mortgage rates. If you're a buyer, watch what mortgage rates do. As those rates come down, demand is naturally going to go up. It has been suppressed because of interest rates. So as that rate comes down, more buyers are going to return to the market. That rate of appreciation is then going to skyrocket. So if you can afford it, get into it. If you can't, keep saving, try to get there, and do it when the time is right for you. If you have any questions on how to save or any type of the loan programs that I was talking about or how to get concessions out of a seller, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to give a like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.